I need someone that is willing to emotionally tend to my needs. Emotionally. At least meet me halfway. I feel like that's what I need, because I will tend to their emotions emotionally. If they're sad, I make sure I'm there and I support them. If they need to talk about something, I make sure I'm there. So I feel like for my needs, which may be different for others, my needs is not what you look like or what what finances you have or how dedicated you are to your. That's not what I need. I feel like that's great and that's a bonus. But I feel like for longevity, you know what I mean? It's not even your dick game for real. You know what I mean? Like, that's good, but what I need for longevity, and I feel like to be like 10, like 20, 30 years down the line, and I'm old and we decrepit, and we just looking at each other and nothing we can do, we can't even have sex. Like, what I need you to be emotionally present, so that's what I need. You know what I mean? Nowadays, I would say, because, you know, I feel like she has a variety of different types of friends. I feel like I have kind of the same type of friends.
So Vicky, how do you feel about that?
I find that, like, as we get older, now I can say that a lot of my friends had, including myself, had unrealistic expectations, but as I got older, like, I couldn't imagine, like, the woman she's dealing with having expectations, because I'm 25 and all those expectations that I thought I was going to have when I was 18, like, oh, you need to have it, you know, to me, that's a child mentality. I couldn't even imagine her playing matchmaker with 30-something plus women, and they really think that this is a checklist of what you really expect out of a man that you know, of course, probably don't bring to the table, but those things are so simple. It's like childish. Like, all you care about is really like a look and what type, you know, I don't want to bum, but what type of job and how much money that man makes when he could still provide without having to make six figures, or he could still be with you emotionally and support you for every dream that you have. You could say you want to go milk fucking cows and he's going to support it. Like, but these women are literally in her office looking for something
The
that
best, the perfect man.
Yeah.
And they're not perfect. So
nobody's
I get what she's
perfect.
saying.
So I understand what she's saying, but I really don't. I can't. I couldn't relate, because even my friends that got me by 5 and 6 years, because I have older friends, or that got me by 10, don't even think that way. And then the ones that's younger than me that they come to me for stuff don't even think that way. If anything, they settle for less than that. You know, so to me, I'm trying to make them make their standards higher, and they're, you know, so I don't know. I just can't. I would like. It's like a new window to me. Like, if I was to see these women, I'd be looking at them like, are y'all fucking serious? You know, like, where are we? Like, how old are we? Where are we going with this? Like, how can you say you want this? Like, it's not realistic.
Yeah, and I'm still single, and I can't even imagine paying for a matchmaker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we still single. We're getting older, but.
Well, I would probably guess a lot of the women who would pay for a matchmaker are those that follow the very independent lifestyle, right? Maybe a little bit older, and they're in probably medium cost of living to high cost of living cities. They do well for themselves, so they have time.
That's true.
They have money to give to someone else because they have less time. And because of that, they enlist someone like her to do the dirty work, right? You know, think it back to like a Tinder or a Bumble, or, you know, that gets out of a lot of the dirty work, which is actually going to a location to meet somebody. That's what a dating coach was going to do. They're doing the dirty work. They were like, okay, I got this woman and this man. Boom, based on their likes, their dislikes, I put them together. But these services cost a lot of money, from my understanding. So I think, like, there's a degree of reality that will hit, especially women, because you guys have a finite amount of time where you are at your most, valuable in the dating market.
Repeat that. You
I mean, I've heard that before.
Okay. Let me try to explain it like this.
Yeah.
When men and women become adults, men are... You okay, Mo? You yawning?
Okay.
You ready to go?
I know you about to say. I can say it in a simpler way, but go ahead.
When men and women first become adults, here's my contention: is that in the dating game, men are at their least valuable because of the things that is attributed to how men are considered valuable grows over time. The older that they get, the more valuable in the dating marketplace that they become. That's generally why you see like a lot of younger women with older men, because there's components in older men that they find a lot more attractive because they're much more in their masculinity. However, the difference for women is they are at their most attractive when they're younger, when they're younger adults. Because what are the things that men look for? Again, we're real visual. You guys are the fairer sex, like the things that she was talking about over here. So it's almost like an inverse relationship as age increases as to a man's value versus a woman's value. Now, it seems like Mo doesn't agree with that, which is why she started doing all that body language as to what she was doing. But Vicky, I wanted to hear your perspective based on the way I just articulated that.
Did you understand what he said?
So, what do you want me to say?
Do you agree that men are more valuable?
She got it.
Okay, yeah. So I do agree. And I can only say I agree because I always was attracted to older men.
Okay.
And because of what their attraction is and what they can bring, not even money or looks wise, what they can bring to me emotionally, physically, being that protector to me as older and more mature because they already went through certain levels of life versus somebody that my age or younger. Unless they're more mature, but still men still take a longer time. So I do agree with that context.
Okay. Cool.
That's what you mean. I gotta pay the. The only thing I'm gonna say is that I feel like it's because they're more attractive because they're more mature. Like men in their 20s, they don't know what the hell they want. So of course we're gonna be more attracted if we're women and we're looking for a leader. Despite the age, we're looking at the quality of the man. The man is more.
It doesn't matter how you get around to the same exact.
It does because I've met
end of the equation.
Because I've met men my age that have those qualities. It's not the age, it's the quality. So I have men that left the house when they were teenagers and they had to become mature. They had to become adults. They had to take care of themselves. So that for me developed leadership.
Do you think that there's an end point for everybody for a degree of maturity? Because my contention is that the same dude who's your age, he'd be much more attractive if he went a couple of more years, still developing in his meaning in life, still developing in his why, still developing in his leadership abilities, and he has more money in the bank.
There shouldn't be no age to it.
Yeah, it's not an age to it. It's the person.
I'm not saying there's an age to it. What I'm saying is that as he continues on in his life, my contention is that as he gains in those things that make him him, and he develops on that, he'll increase his value in the dating marketplace.
That's with anybody, though.
It's not, but I'm saying that's not with women. Like you said, you were attracted to mature men. What I'm saying is that mature men are not attracted to mature women from an age perspective as much as younger women.
But I feel like they're not attracted to mature women because men want to lead. So the younger the woman, the more submissive. Well, that's debatable, but you know what I mean.
Correlated.
Like do you get what I'm saying? Like you're looking for someone to basically train or like take care of. So like the more independent, the more older she is, the more wider she is. It's like you're more on my level. So I feel like men like to be in charge. They like to.
We're not debating the reason why this happens. What we're debating is there validity in the way that we both come to the same exact conclusion.
I feel like it's not the same. I feel like we're saying different things, but. What do you think?
I don't even know. I'm lost now. No, I'm lost because I get where both of you guys are coming from, but I just don't understand the whole concept of what answer you want, John.
My name is Mediocre.
You can edit that out. You know that. You ain't tell her.
They stay doxing me. I didn't tell her.
You didn't tell her.
Stay doxing me.
You can just
Stay doxing me. I'm just joking.
Beep. Yeah.
All right, let's do one more back into the video, and then we'll how much time? Oh my God, I'm gonna split this into 2 videos. All right, ready?
I even have those things. But you want that in a man. And you don't want to build with anybody. You don't want to build a life together. Listen, honey, you better find yourself a Build-A-Bear. You need to find yourself a Build-A-Boo. Okay? Somebody that meets some requirements of who you want in character, your values, integrity, right? Lifestyle, goals, vision. Where are you two going together? Purpose, passion. Somebody when I made this post, and everybody went off on it, said, what did you compromise on when it came to Mr. Poe? What did you compromise on? Listen, girls, I'm writing it in my book right now. I came from dating Mr. Gorgeous. I came from dating Mr. Trainer. I came from dating Mr. Baller. I was flying here and doing this and that. And at the end of the day, all of them were players. They were F-boys. I know I'm not supposed to say that word, but I don't have another word for it. Y'all want to turn hoes into husbands the same way men want to turn hoes into housewives. And that's just not how it works. Because until a man is ready, he is not going to choose you. It doesn't matter how you put it down in the bedroom. It doesn't matter what kind of values. It doesn't matter how big your butt is and what you look like. Until a man is ready, he is not settling down. And literally, I'm literally writing this. So my compromises came because I had these standards, just like most of you, that were way up here because I had all these experiences that created an appetite. It created a false standard in my life of what I thought I deserved or what I thought I needed. But yet it was a false standard because none of them were men of God. None of them were Carrie Pope. None of them literally had their values. They weren't good husbands and fathers and brothers. They don't take care of their mama. Literally, these men lacked all the values that really matter in a marriage. A husband is totally different than dudes you date out here. These dudes that are just playing around. A husband is a totally different animal. And so like many of you, I had these standards. I had a type. Let's be real, girl. I had a type. My type was businessman. My type was CEO. My type was getting it done. My type was literally go-getter. 6- and 7-figure men running companies. Those are the only kind of men I was in relationships with. Okay, that's what I was committing to. I played with some boy toys from that instead of F-boys, okay, girls? Boy toys. I played around thinking I was trying to be serious because of lust. So many of you have fallen in lust. And then you think and now you want love and you're trying to compare it to lust. And that's not how love works. So you date Mr. Gorgeous and he's got the 6-pack and he's 6'4" and he's chocolate. And then you date the Mr. Baller and he got money and you in the bins and you whipping and you flying and you drinking and dinner, whining and dining. And at the end of the day now, you created an appetite for yourself, or better yet, maybe you haven't even experienced it for yourself like me, but you want it. So you're on Instagram and you're looking at people's lifestyles and you're looking at people on the scene, traveling and doing all this and comparing yourself and saying, why can't I have that? I want that life too. And then when a good man comes along, you're comparing him saying, no, he's not giving me that lifestyle. I want that I see other people having. I deserve that. I'm just as pretty as that. I need to get me a man that's a baller too. And so now you have these false standards, whether you've experienced it or whether you just want it. That lust of the eye, whether you're just, you might not have ever experienced it, but you're saying, well, that's what I want.
I agree with most of the stuff she was stating.
Okay.
In this last,
section?
we're talking about this last time.
Yeah.
I agree with a lot of stuff that she's saying because even the people that don't go through it, you do have that appetite. I've had that appetite of wanting things that, because I wasn't big in the dating game. So like to me, it's like, dang, am I going to have that type of dude that's going to be all those things? Or am I going to have this boring guy that's at home, but I love him. And then, we're just us, so. Yeah. I understand what she's saying by the appetite, but it does not dictate my standards though. Like it doesn't make me say when I meet a guy he needs to have this, that. Now I have deal breakers that I can and cannot deal with, but I don't feel like it, sets my standards higher by looking at that. But I have had those thoughts.
Okay. Mo, final, quick, brief thoughts.
I mean, I've had both the broke, the rich. So I feel like that doesn't set my standards. The only thing I would envy is my emotional awareness. Like, y'all say, like, dang, like, that dude is really spontaneous. I want that. Like, that type of thing. But it hasn't been like, oh, that girl's going on this trip and he's got this nice car. It was never that. But I do agree with what she's saying based off of the majority of women. But I don't consider myself the majority. So it's hard to answer things like this because I'm thinking from my perspective rather than the majority of women. So if we're speaking of the majority of women, then they do tend to have unrealistic standards.
Okay.
For me.
Do you guys feel like at any point in your dating lives that you have had unrealistic standards?
When I was a young child. Like maybe like 15. The only way that I've had unrealistic standards is when I didn't understand male nature.
Oh.
I feel like I have a better understanding of male nature now. I do.
Through dating experiences.
But I think it's a balance of understanding male nature, but also knowing what I need. And I know what I need. So
emotional connection.
I need something.
Yeah, I had those standards until I ended up with somebody that didn't have none of the fucking standards that I had. And I fell in love with him. You couldn't tell me nothing about my little trying to provide man at the time,
Was he medium ugly?
Yes.
Okay.
She loves me.
You love medium, yeah.
No, he was so that's what I'm saying, and I was, I started dealing with him when I was 15. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 15 all the way until 20 or 21. So that was my moment when I realized that my standards that I had of having a CEO or a business guy or whatever, all these things, when I end up falling in love with somebody that was the total opposite, and you learn real fast. Because he was a fella, and I loved him. The thing is, he was really a good guy. Of course, it took its turns, but in the beginning, and when we say you're not looking for those type of people, he came into my life, and I was like, what do you want? Like, this boy ain't got, and he ended up being this person that took care of the household, had his little 2 cars or whatever, but nothing extravagant. Working every day, he could teach himself anything from a computer. So it was like, that was my moment where I could say it broke me from like, dang girl, you went left. And even like me being the one that was picky growing up, and all my friends was like having all these little bummy relationships, and I was the one they go to. I don't know why, because I had no experience, but I always was talking shit, and I ended up all the way left. That was my moment where I realized that it's not like we can set standards because you don't want to settle for less, but it has to be, what's the word I'm looking for?
Realistic?
Realistic, yeah. It has to be realistic. It can't be like she said, something that we can't bring to the table.
Okay.
I feel like the women that she talked to have not experienced the men that we've experienced. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like we've met good guys.
Yeah.
I feel like they haven't met good guys.
No, they have, but they just don't show them any respect.
But they haven't gave them chances. So, like, if you ask me, what do I want in a man? I may give you this whole ton list because you're asking me directly, what's my perfect man?
Yeah, but that's because, but they have, so the difference is what she's saying is the difference between love and lust. And I think that a woman that is in love, that wants the love and wants to be in love, is not looking at things from an unrealistic perspective. But a woman who wants the lust is looking for the bits and the pieces in order for the short-term gratification, which can lead to these unrealistic, unhealthy, looking on Instagram and hating your girlfriend who has all these pictures out in Maui and this, that, and the third with her dude with the 6-pack. You see what I'm saying? But like those things are not leading to healthy, long-term, loving relationships, or even like engagement to marriage, to having kids and families together, because you can't build that based off of lust, is what she's saying.
Because a lot of women don't know what they need or
Right.
what they want.
Yeah.
You have to be really in tune with yourself in order to know. As a woman, I would say you have to be really in tune with yourself in order to know what you need and what you want, and a lot of us don't.
I agree.
Ooh.
I do, but a lot of us don't.
Yeah.
You do.
I will say, yeah.
So for women that are listening, what are the things that you did in order to help understand what you need and what you want?
I was single for a very long time. I was single for a very long time. I dated, but I was single for a very long time, and I self-reflect a lot. So I would say that. Like I gave time to myself. You know what I mean? Where I didn't have anybody to talk to or fall back on or like to give me temporary comfort. I was strictly to myself for some time, and then I self-reflected on what I can bring to the table or what someone may expect of me as a woman or as a partner.
All right, final question. Did you guys have fun today?
Yeah. I just said I agree with everything that she was talking about. But I had fun.
You have fun?
But to answer Monique's thing, because I'm only saying this because I can't remember the question, but her answer made me realize that mine was the opposite. Because I was single a long time. Like majority of my life, I was single. Like even when you go into dating as high school and going into young adult. But I didn't learn anything in my dating phase. I learned most of my stuff in my relationship of what I need and what I don't need or what I don't want. I didn't learn it from me being single because I was always single. And when I was single, I knew what I wanted and I needed, but it became unrealistic. Versus when I actually got in those situations, that's when I realized what I want and what I need in my relationship with that significant other.
That's a good point.
So mine was kind of the same, but the opposite.
That's a good point.
I mean, it sounds like balance between in and out to know the whole picture.
Yeah.
Knowing yourself and.
All right. Well, listen, I'm going to have to cut this into at least 2 videos. But guys, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your unadulterated thoughts and opinions. Vicky, first video.
Yeah.
You did very well.
Thanks.
Thank you for coming on. We gotta do another one eventually.
Yes.
I know this was a lot for your first one. This was a lot for your first one, but thank you so much for coming through.
You're welcome.
Mo, thank you again for coming back through.
For bringing her.
We appreciate
Always her.
we appreciate your thoughts. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns. Y'all already know what to do. Mediocre tutorials and reviews at gmail.com. Hit me up. Until next time, YouTube. Peace! Pardon the masculinity.